Sorry though, we had to cut you off there, Matt, because we want to get ready for the next match, and this is one of the most important ones of the day.
Yeah.
It is round 10, the last round during the Swiss portion of the event, and after this round we will know who will advance to the top 64, where players have to win 6 more rounds to become the European champion, and 4 more rounds to play in the World Championship. No, that should be 5. Should be 1 less.
Yeah, 5,
yes, there we go. My name is Oliver German, and I'm joined by Luke.
Hey, Ollie.
Great to be having you here again, working together with you. And for this round, we picked one of the national champions as well, Daniel Bentsen from Denmark. He is running a very interesting deck.
Yeah.
It is a Shaddoll deck with an anti-engine, so to speak. Yeah. He's running cards like Anti-Magical Spell Fragrance. And few guys have asked him, how does that work out for you?
Yeah, that's really strange, because if you play Anti-Spell Fragrance, then you can't play any of your fusion cards that you get back from your graveyard or that you draw into that turn.
Yes.
Like, it just seems really strange that that would work.
Half the time he dodged the question and he was like, I can't really tell you, it just works. So there's a chance that we get to see that. He's now going up against Kevin Brandt, who might be sounding, thank you, sounds like a German name, they are the deck lists. However, it is also a Danish player. So we got an all-Danish affair in the round number 10. The winner will advance to the top 64. The loser has a chance of still making it into the top 64, depending on his tiebreakers. But there are so many players lying in wait that you have to win this round if you want to lock up your spot.
This deck makes way more sense now that I've actually seen the deck list.
Okay. All right. So let's go into a little bit more detail, because we have a bit of time before we get started here.
Yeah. So
why does it make more sense?
Because he's not necessarily playing just a Shaddoll deck. He's playing the Star Seraph engine and the Ice Hand Fire Hand engine with main deck Thunder King. He's not actually playing that many fusion Shaddoll cards. So playing
it is not your ordinary Shaddoll deck.
Yeah.
All right.
The core of it seems to be a Shaddoll deck, but he's not playing any of the fusion cards. So he's probably going to just use a Shaddoll monster to be gaining the advantages using their effects, but mainly trying to lock his opponent down with the hands and the Star Seraph engine.
Right.
He's also playing 3 Call of the Haunted, so that's showing that right there.
Okay. His opponent, Kevin, is playing Nekroz. I think with that, you know everything you really need to know. So let's take you to the feature match table, where both guys are already sitting down and ready to get their game on. So Kevin on the left-hand side, Daniel on the right-hand side, the national champion of Denmark. And I think the decks are mixed up. Daniel on the right is playing Shaddoll, Anti, and Kevin on the left-hand side is playing Nekroz.
Yeah. So we'll soon see. Yeah, so that seems like a very Shaddoll move to do.
Shadolly move?
Shadolly. That's another new word that we're making. We're just making up all the words this weekend.
All right.
So yeah, Daniel's very much playing the Shaddoll deck. So those are the wrong way around.
He just set a fire hand to trick his opponent. Although there's a very good chance, since both of these guys are coming from the same country, that they are knowing what each other is playing.
Yeah, possibly. But it is a very strange deck.
Yeah. All right. So Kevin with one of the best opening plays for Nekroz, of course.
Yeah. So let's take a look at his hand. So we have some. Yeah, that hand's really good. He can. I was just digesting the entire hand.
Yeah. It just gets better and better.
Yeah. I was just reading down there. So he's opened up with Senju and the ability to summon Unicorn as well. That's the ideal play. But the real question is, he still doesn't know where his opponent's playing. We don't think
he might not know.
He might not know. So what?
Do you normally go for a Chinlock here?
It's hard to say what he's going to go for. So I always believe that the first turn Chinlock's a bit
There's a Maxi coming down.
Yeah, so he actually has the way to play around the Maxi. So the way you play around the Maxi is by having a Valkyrus in your hand as well, so that you can send a 12, and then you can just reduce the amount of special summons you do, and you just reduce the amount of searching you do at the same time. But that's the way you generally will play around Maxi. But we'll see what happens here, because of the way that this is played out, if Kevin can just... He doesn't know that his opponent's not playing Nekroz. If he can just assume that his opponent... doesn't have any other hand traps that will stop him from winning the game.
Right.
Kevin can just straight up win the game right now, which is what he's going to go for by the looks of it, because he's summoned a Unicorn. That's going to allow his opponent to get more draws from Max C. But he does have the ability to...
Isn't the Fire Hand going to be stopping him?
Yeah, so that's going to be the only spanner in the works by the looks of it. I don't know what he thinks that could possibly be. I honestly don't know what he's reading that as, because...
Right. So the question is, does he have the correct read on his opponent? Really?
Yeah, because the problem is he's going to have to make a Beast Dweller to get around that, or somehow banish it.
Yeah.
If he's playing the Decisive Armor, which is ideally the way that he wants to get rid of this, or he can get rid of Trishula, which is another really optimal way to get rid of it. So
thanks to the Max C now being in the graveyard.
He just discarded Max C.
And that's also one of the factors. Sometimes you don't want to play Max C because you don't want to set yourself up for a Trishula play.
Yeah, so generally you'll save Max C for when Trishula's played, so you can kind of dodge Trishula's effect.
Right.
Okay, so we see a very interesting play here. He seems to be attributing the Shaddoll Dragon from hand and the Senju for a Valkyrus here. That means that he's not going to be able to win right now. Wow. Okay. Yeah. He just misplayed really badly.
So that hurts like Kevin in the worst way possible, doesn't it?
Yeah. He's just lost a ton of stuff.
So he's given Daniel a couple of cards in his hand thanks to the Maxi that he dropped earlier on.
To be
and he doesn't even get any damage in thanks to Firehand.
Well, no, to be fair to Kevin, he's going to be able to, which we see here, during the damage step when Firehand targets the Valkyrus, he can use Nekroz of Trishula to negate the Firehand's effect because it targets it. But still, he could have just won the game out there, I think. But anyway, so there must have been...
he's now left with a reinforcement in his hand, and a shared ride that he's set. He's one of these players that prefer shared ride over Mystical Space Typhoon.
In this matchup, it's not going to be very good, I don't think. Because there's only a few cards that search in this deck, being Hedgehog.
And you're saying this looks really good for Daniel?
Yeah, he just played Max C and drew a lot of cards. There's nothing more to be said.
Okay.
He's got 6 cards. His opponent has 3 cards. Even if he gets to use every single one of his mirrors, yeah. However, we do see that Kevin has reinforcements in the army. Now, a really cool trick you can do with Valkyrus is if you use reinforcements to the army on your Shurrit, you can tribute it from hand using Valkyrus, which triggers not only its effect, but then you get to draw a card from Valkyrus as well. So that's a really good play to generate some advantage.
And Kevin did draw into an Armageddon Knight. That is one of the more unique choices that he has in his deck, really.
Yeah, so he's playing the Armageddon Knight build.
And what do you prefer? Which build of Nekroz?
I don't like playing Armageddon Knight. I think it's you have to play cards which you don't want to draw ever, and I don't like that. I remember when I played Harpies quite a while back. The fact you had to play Harpy's Pet Dragon, although the best play you could go for was the Harpy's Pet Dragon with that's completely escapes my mind. You could discard a Harpy card to summon Harpy's Pet Dragon and make a Drakus like that. Anyway, yeah, that was one of the best plays, but you had to play Harpy's Pet Dragon. If you open that in your opening hand, then it was just not very good.
Yeah, so just sitting there.
Yeah, so you're playing like Far, which you don't really want in your hand, Shaddoll Dragon, which you don't really want in your hand.
There's a breakthrough skill being activated.
Breakthrough skill.
I think on the effect of Valkyrus.
Because
that's
actually
Armageddon
perfect.
Resolved and sent Chin to the graveyard.
Yeah, if Valkyrus would have resolved there, that would have actually been devastating, because he did go down the line of play that I predicted.
Yep.
He played Rotor and got Shurrit to use with Valkyrus. But
so Daniel now drew into Star Serenity.
Yeah, which is not going to be much use unless he wants to play Call of the Hornet to get that fire hand back, and then go into some kind of 3 level 4 monster rank for Exceed play. So we'll see, but I think it wouldn't be a bad choice here just to flip it. It's Ice Hand he has in the field, right? Yeah, he could just flip up. He could flip up that Ice Hand, attack into the Armageddon Knight. Armageddon Knight would be destroyed, as well as the Ice Hand would be destroyed.
And he gets something else out of that.
So the issue here is that that's going to be destroyed, and then there's no spell and traps for Ice Hand to target, so it can't summon the Fire Hand. It has to destroy the card that it targets to be able to.
So basically, it's just an old school trade, not like the 2-in-1 that you sometimes get these days.
No, that'd have been even more than a 2-in-1, because he'd have been able to destroy the Armageddon Knight, destroy the spell and trap card, and he'd have been able to summon the Fire Hand as well. So.
Right. Okay, so it doesn't seem like at least to me, that Daniel is ahead as much as he was before.
No, it did seem like he'd been able to generate some advantage using those hands, but it doesn't seem like he has been able to. However, he does have Soul Charge in his hand. So for those who don't know what Soul Charge does, it allows you to target as many monsters as you want in your graveyard and special summon them all. And you take 1,000 damage for each one of those monsters. The only restriction is that you can't attack, well, you don't get a battle phase. You can't get a battle phase the turn.
The short version is it's Monster Reborn on steroids.
Yes, you don't. Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. Especially considering, so a lot of people said, oh, but you don't get to attack, you know, this card's bad. Well, this is when it was first coming out. People go, oh, you don't get to attack. And immediately people realize that if I just play Soul Charge and make an unstoppable board of monsters, then it doesn't matter if I can't attack.
If, my opponent can stop me or not.
Makes no real difference.
All right, so Valkyros is attacking.
Yeah.
And Daniel does have something to stop the attack if he wants to. He could use a Call of the Haunted to bring back one of the hands.
Yep.
What do you think that's a good play?
I think calling Firehand right now wouldn't be such a bad play, just to try and get rid of that Valkyros. However, I think Daniel right now is just kind of contemplating the fact that he had to leave that Valkyros on the field because his Ice Hand got removed.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so the attack connected.
Yeah.
There's a Bryanek in main phase 2, and it's searching for Gungnir.
Gungnir, yeah. So Gungnir protects your monster. When you discard it, you can protect a Nekroz monster from being destroyed.
So far, this seems to be going extremely well for Kevin, despite
the really bad start, yeah. Daniel it doesn't seem... So, at this point, we've not seen any of his anti-spell fragrances. We've also not seen any Shaddoll cards at all. Yeah. Because he's not had any Shaddoll monsters.
If Kevin didn't know what he was playing up until this point, he still doesn't know that.
No, he's
totally in the dark.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because Daniel's deck's just not been doing what it's supposed to at all.
Yeah.
He's not been able to play any of the Shaddoll engine
Do you agree with Kevin setting the Mystical Space Typhoon here? Or is it one of these situations where you would hold on to that card?
I personally, in Nekroz, would never, ever, ever set Mystical Space Typhoon. I think the only reason you would set it is maybe if...
You had a second one?
If you have a second one, or if your opponent has another Ice Hand and you're trying to bait him into attacking with the Ice Hand.
Okay.
But that's really high-level play. There's no... It's
basically really, a high-level mind game.
Yeah, that's a really, really high-level mind game. There's no...
Daniel drew into an Effect Veiler. It's another of these preventive cards that don't really put up much of an offense.
Yeah, not right now. I mean, he could have done with that turn 1.
Yeah,
really. But yeah, his deck just doesn't seem to be producing any Shaddoll monsters, and he keeps looking at these back row, and there's no real options here. I mean, you can play Call of the Haunted on the Firehand, and then attacking to Valkyros, destroy the Valkyros, and then play on from there. But even then, that's not going to actually work because his opponent has Gungnir.
And the MST can stop the Call of the Haunted
even
on top of that.
More.
So Kevin has 2 trump cards at the moment to stop Daniel.
Yeah. So there goes Soul Charge.
Okay. And he doesn't really have any targets. He's got the hands, and I think that's
it. He's got, was there one monster right at the start of the game? No.
Maxi. There was a Maxi.
No, that's it, yeah. So he just has a Fire and a Ice Hand.
So he brings them both back.
Yep.
And
so now
do they have the same level?
Yeah, they're both level 4.
Okay, so he has access to all of the rank 4 Exceed monsters. Is there something that's going to get him out of that situation here?
No.
Okay.
No, not really.
Short version is
no. Sorry. There's no real long version to that. It really looks like there's not a lot going on.
Okay, so he's basically just stalling.
Yeah, and to be honest, even making a rank 4 monster wouldn't be much use because just removing that single rank 4 monster then makes sure that you lose the game. Whereas if he has the 2 Fire and Ice Hands, at least if they can survive and be used effectively, then we can keep those around.
All right, so Kevin does have a reinforcement of the army.
Yeah.
And he's now
searching for Shrit.
His hand is Gungnir, Clausulus, and as you just mentioned, the Shrit that he just searched for.
Yeah, so he can perform a ritual summon here.
Is he going to be able to wrap things up here in this turn already?
I think so. Oh, did he already play? He played Trishula already. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he can just play Nekroz Cycle.
He discarded Trishula for the effect, yeah.
Yeah, so he can just play Cycle, discard tribute the Shrit from hand, and then summon Trishula.
And for a very little short-time players were playing 2 copies of Trishula
Yeah.
with that logic that you were just following, saying, oh, Trishula is gone. Because you could sometimes bait your opponent into a situation where he thinks that, oh, all the Trishulas are gone, I can now safely unleash all my plans, so to speak. And then the second Trishula was punishing them. But we didn't see that ever this weekend.
No.
Is there a particular reason why people are going back to one Trishula?
I think they've the necessity to play other Nekroz monsters like Gungnir and Decisive Armor. So there's not Decisive Armor in this deck list, I don't think. But the other Nekroz monsters has just kind of ushered out one of those Trishula slots that people were using up.
Right. Nekroz Cycle brought back the Trishula from the graveyard, which is something to keep in mind. You can, of course, bring it back if it hits the graveyard. But the Effect Veiler made sure that no more damage has been done here.
Yep. So he has no way to kind of put that face down or anything like that. So it's very much being Effect Veiled. But so still, we have
Kevin needs a
two
third
very big
monster. But then he still would have to attack over the hand, and that wouldn't be
I think right now, just... he's in a tough position. I think, to be honest, the safest possible play was to try and produce a cowboy, but by the looks of it, that's not possible with the current hand that he has.
So he uses the other effect of Valkyrus, tributing Trishula away.
Ooh, that's quite interesting.
Draws into Torrential Tribute.
Yeah, so...
And I think...
Did he attack the...
He did attack into the Fire Hand.
Yeah, well, that's quite interesting, but I don't see an issue with that. He has a full 8,000 life points. Even if his board gets completely wiped right now, there's no real issues going on.
There's the Call of the Haunted.
That must be end phase, surely, because otherwise he's going to get destroyed.
I think it is end phase because he didn't draw yet, Daniel.
Yeah, must be. Yeah, I can't tell whether the Valkyrus looked like it kind of motioned to attack that Fire Hand that's currently
at the
top of the graveyard. So
is there another way to get it to the graveyard?
No, not by the looks of it. So he attacked the Fire Hand and then dropped Gungnir to stop Valkyrus being destroyed.
Okay.
So now we just saw a few of the resources of Daniel be expunged here, and still, he's not drawing any Shaddoll monsters.
Yeah, that hurts. So he's got a breakthrough skill that immediately goes face down. Yeah,
he's only running 7 Shaddoll monsters. That's not a lot. We were testing quite a lot. Me and some of the UK players. When we were trying to produce a deck, we actually tried to produce a Shaddoll Nekroz deck. Call us crazy, and
we've seen stranger things before.
We have seen stranger things.
Burning Abyss and Shaddoll in one deck.
Well, yeah, Shaddoll, Ice Hands, Fire Hands, and Star Seraphs is pretty crazy as well.
Yeah,
we said to ourselves that we have to have at least 10 Shaddoll cards in the deck, at least 10 Shaddoll monsters, sorry, for us to be able to even function as a Shaddoll deck. Which he seems to be playing only 7. Now that's quite risky.
Yeah, it's one of these decks that doesn't leave much space for anything else really, and it's interesting that Daniel did seemingly find a way to fill that space.
Yeah,
but
he's removed some of the key Shaddoll cards, Shaddoll Fusion and El Shaddoll Fusion.
Yeah, but so far in this particular match, not working in his favor.
No. But again, yesterday we saw the new Turbo Towers deck that people are talking about. We saw that not do very well and then do very well immediately afterwards in the next matchup. So we need to just maybe take a step back and just think this was a pretty unlucky match for Daniel. So here we're seeing Kevin go searching through his deck, which is what Nekroz does. Having a quick look to try and really shape his hand into something that's going to be able to deal with this Fire and Ice hand.
And is Daniel thinking that, well, my opponent has to have at least 3 monsters to attack over my field, not assuming that there's a MST on his opponent's side of the field, or is he aware of the fact that he might only get like 1, he can only stop 1 attack really?
Yeah. We might see something interesting here. I don't know whether has he set that Torrential Tribute yet? I wish he'd have set that Torrential. He should have set Torrential Tribute because we could have seen all sorts of really cool stuff come out here. If he
with the Manju and then
he could have played Manju, Chainlink 1 Torrential, Chainlink 2 Manju, and then the other way around. He could have played Manju and then Torrential Chainlink 2, and then the hands would have missed timing.
Yeah,
because they are when effects, so they can miss timing. And that would have cleaned his board out, and then he'd
Was there any reason to not set the differential tribute?
Yeah, I don't see why he didn't, to be honest. Don't see why he didn't, because that would have been my line of plays, because he has 2 just to do that. But I don't know why he didn't set torrential tribute.
So the MST attempted to destroy the call?
No, I think it was it was one of the other cards, one of the other set cards. But I think that's El Shaddoll Fusion. So did he destroy El Shaddoll Fusion? That's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's no longer on the field.
Yeah, so more importantly than that being destroyed is the fact that he now knows his opponent's playing a Shaddoll deck.
And is there... Sometimes I see that players concede right before that happens.
Yeah, before.
They don't see a lot of chance that they're going to win this game. So when the opponent plays an MST, and it would give away that they're playing Shaddoll, and up to this point the opponent doesn't know that you're playing Shaddoll, with just 200 life points, very slim chances of still finishing that game. Would you have scooped at that point?
Yeah, most likely, because it's not looking great. I mean, here, Kaleidoscope.
All right, so basically sometimes it is the correct move to scoop.
Yeah, very much so. I don't understand. Oh, he did a lot of moves out of sequence there.
He's going for Cowboy now?
Yeah, he just plays Cowboy here.
All right, and Cowboy is shooting from the hip. 800 life points down for Daniel, and he just had 200. So basically, he really should have scooped, I guess. But there is the chance that Kevin was aware of the fact that Daniel was playing Shaddoll.
Yeah, this strange Shaddoll deck.
Okay. And if you blinked, you might have missed it, but now we also fixed the subtitles, so to speak. And Kevin is now playing Nekroz, just as we said, and Daniel is playing Shaddoll.
Yeah, so they've not swapped decks. We are sticking to the ones they had.
Right. So 1-0 for the Nekroz deck. And what is that like when you're the Shaddoll player?
I think that the surprise factor of playing this Shaddoll deck should have been done in game 1.
Yeah.
That should have been the key part of it.
So now the cat is out of the bag.
Yeah.
And what's that going to mean for games 2 and 3? You think that the Nekroz is going to be able to overcome him here?
Kevin's going to be able to go and buy a cat trap and just deal with that.
And what cards are...
He's seen it.
What cards are really hindering the Shaddoll deck? Because I see, for example, a Denko Seka in the side deck of Kevin. When we got mistakes.
Breakthrough skill is going to be a great one to put in because that stops a lot of these combos. If your opponent opens the Star Seraph combo with Scepter and Sovereignty, then you can play Breakthrough skill on the Scepter as Chainlink 3, and then they're not going to be able to summon 3 monsters, so then you just deal with the Scepter next turn and they don't get that massive advantageous play.
Right.
I do wonder how he's managed to fit this extra deck in because, like, he's... Just having a quick read of it now.
Yeah.
He's managing to play...
He got Stellar Knights. He got
he's just had to be really, really limited on the generic rank 4s that he plays.
Yeah, so he doesn't even have a Gagaga Cowboy, for example.
Yeah, so he's only playing Exciton Knight and Castell as the generic rank 4s. And then the rest of his deck is the Star Seraph engine being Delta Rose, and Diamond. He's not even playing Ptolemaeus, and then the rest of his extra deck are just Shaddoll, so the fusion monsters, the Arcanite Magician, and Leo. So,
right,
Leo's a pretty good card in this format. If you play against Burning Abyss, it's always known to be that one card that you just put in front of Burning Abyss and they can't really do much about.
Right. How important is a Gagaga Cowboy?
Yeah, me and Matthew were talking about this last round. It's so important. I believe that you can play kind of these really strong decks that just produce a big board and destroy your opponent in one turn that you wouldn't be able to play normally. Like, Manju is not a very big monster. It's only got 1,400 attack points.
Yeah.
But when it later on adds to the construction of a rank 4 800 damage, that makes it, you know, just a little bit better that you can play these monsters with fantastic effects and build up to that.
And what do you think of Daniel's deck? He just bricked really hard, so to speak, in the first game. Do you think that happened often with the list that we got here? Is it likely that this happens very often with these many different engines all in one deck?
So I actually recently have been playing a deck that's quite a lot like this. I just, instead of playing Shaddolls, I was playing the Traptrix. It was a quite famous deck that Trey Ferkel, I think his name is, was playing in the NAWCQ.
Okay.
He calls it Trap Queens. It's fairly interesting. I changed a few cards to my own liking. But the idea behind it is just to play a lot of kind of engines, the little mini engines that you can use as like an anti-meta kind of style.
Yeah,
but
similar to the hat archetype in a way.
Yeah, very similar to the hat archetype. But the key part about the deck that deck that Trey was playing is that you can go and search for Traptrix Chapel Nightmare, which was a really key card against Nekroz. Whereas here we're not seeing that. We don't see the ability to go and search out these really powerful trap cards. Whereas that deck kind of did. So the mixing of the archetypes does work to an extent. It's just not necessarily this particular one. But I think maybe we just got unlucky in this last game. We're going to see him side decking these 3 mistakes, which is absolutely fantastic against Nekroz, as we've seen.
Wouldn't that be a reason to go first in the second game, so you can have a mistake?
It could be a reason to give that a go first. But it's not too bad to go second and get that extra card, because Nekroz generally will either clear their board up or just make, they'll either put Klausless on the board or Unic, or just, a very few amount of monsters. And if you can just deal with those, then play Mistake, then that's not a bad thing.
And the hands are showing up on our second screen, and they're also popping up on our app on the right-hand side. And Dan's got a Squamata among a few other
So
cards.
that's the first Shaddoll monster that we've seen this game. He's opened Double Scepter, which is very unpleasant for him.
He did allow Kevin to go first.
Yeah.
And he does have a mistake.
Yep. Let's see what the last card is. It's quite key. So in this deck that's very combo oriented, what did the last card?
It was a Raigeki. So this is the opening 5 for Daniel. He's going to draw a card in just a second. Until then, Kevin is going to go nuts here.
Yeah. So not that I want to say it again, but the reason I don't like the Armageddon Knight build is because you got to play these monsters that you don't want to draw. And again, he's drawn Shaddoll Dragon. But I don't think that in this matchup it's going to be a bad thing, because he gets to. If he manages to ritual summon using that Shaddoll Dragon, it triggers its effect. When it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you get to destroy one of your opponent's spell and trap cards. And Mistake is very much a magnet for that.
Right.
He's going to want to.
He's going to attract that card magically. Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to want to be using that dragon's effect to destroy the Mistake. So.
But it looks to me like if Daniel would have gone first, there would have been a lot better.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah.
Much better. I didn't get to have a look at the analysis of Kevin's hand immediately, but I don't think he had a way. He didn't have a way without searching to trigger the Shaddoll Dragon's effect. So yeah, Mistake would have just outright stopped his turn from Manju, I think.
Yeah, and that would have been worth the extra card, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, he may have had Valkyrus and Rituals, but oh no, he had Kaleidoscope. Yeah, so that wouldn't have happened. Yep, he had no way of using the Shaddoll Dragon. But let's see. As I said before, he may be able to just destroy the monsters and play that Mistake, and then see if he can just control the game that way. However, we may be seeing a Djinn lock here. It's very possible. Larval Chain might be sending a Djinn, or it might be sending a Shurit to try and summon that Valkyrus. Yeah, so he's doing it the other way around. He's got a Shred, and he must have a Shred in hand. Yeah, it's Brynnek. Brynek's pretty much Shred.
Brynnek is a Shred?
Yeah, there we go. Brynek's a Shred. See?
Yeah. It's not exactly a math equation, but I guess it's the closest we can get in Yu-Gi-Oh! Speak.
Yeah, it's quite funny that... so sometimes people forget that all these different monsters have got like little backstories and things like that. And I struggle to understand how Brynnek can somehow use its effects, and this big dragon-looking guy turns into a tiny little guy with a little suit on. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's like one of these fairy tales where the dragons can morph into people and
run
around.
That's what the Nekroz archetype is. In fact, it's all about
dragons in disguise.
Yeah. Yeah, it's these guys who've learned how to make clothing and turn into their favorite monsters. The taming of the ice barrier monsters.
They must have some expensive tailors.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, Kevin is still not done with his turn. He goes tributes for Valkyrus.
Yeah,
he's draw cards.
He's just shaping his hand into a real perfect way to combat whatever Daniel's going to do here. So the perfect example would be to make sure that he has a way to trigger that Shaddoll Dragon from his hand.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have that, then yeah, that Mistake that could prove a mistake. So,
and this is also one of the biggest strengths of the Nekroz deck, of course. You're going first, you're ending with 6 cards in hand, so you basically gained 1 card, and at the same time you put a lot of cards in your graveyard, which sometimes sounds like a disadvantage, but if you've been around in the Dragon Ruler days, you know that this is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yep. So we do see that he added Cycle to his hand to be able to trigger that dragon by summoning Unicorn. So Daniel opens up with a Star Seraph Scepter.
Yeah.
Now, so he didn't have the combo.
last card he drew was a Call of the Haunted. So
yeah, so that's not bad. He's in a reasonable position right now. If he can flip Mistake and at least stop him from playing. Oh, okay. That's really bad because he's preemptively flipped Mistake in case his opponent plays Denkoseka, which all that does is reveal where Mistake is. And now Kevin's looking at his grave and going, yep, that Unicorn's right there. I'm going to play Cycle, Tribute the Dragon, summon Unicorn, and destroy that Mistake. That's going to be the line of play I think he's going to take here. And
you said that the only thing it does is it makes sure that he doesn't lose to Denkoseka right away.
Yeah, but instead...
would he have lost to Denkoseka? Like, is it correct to flip the Mistake?
Yeah, very well. Not really. It's really hard to say because he has no cards in his graveyard. He can't really be Trishula'd. So it's just okay. He doesn't seem to be using what I thought he was going to do. So what else does he have? He must be summoning... Oh, Gungnir. Okay, he's going to use Gungnir instead. I thought using the Shaddoll Dragon early on would have been more beneficial, but yeah, maybe not. So
maybe he's saving the Shaddoll Dragon.
Yeah, maybe.
Is it easier to trigger the Shaddoll Dragon?
Not really. Like it's quite a strange thing to be able to trigger from your hand. Like it's really good to trigger it with Armageddonite and such, but it's not really easy to trigger from your hand. It's easier to summon an Armageddonite that you just played reinforcements in the army to get. But so he seems to he adds a Unicorn to his hand here. And he discards it right away. Yeah.
That allows him to recycle one of the cards, possibly Brionek.
Yeah. He can get any of the Nekroz cards, so it could be any of his mirrors as well that are in the graveyard. Because he did just discard one of those mirrors for Gungnir's effect. But as we see here, Daniel not looking in the best of shape.
Yeah. And just a second ago you said he's looking in reasonable shape. But this is how quick the tables are turning here.
Yeah. So yeah, he did end up doing the play with Cycle and tributing Dragon from hand to summon the Unicorn and get rid of that other card. But yeah, we just see, so Gungnir over the Star Seraph monster. I think Gungnir is 2/5, so that's going to be 700 points. And then a 3/7, so that's going to be 4/4 in total. That gets him down to under half of life points.
Yeah.
Did I just math wrong? No, that's 4/4.
No,
okay.
We're good.
Yeah.
So Daniel again with just a few life points remaining.
Yep.
And you gotta wonder, like these big swings early on, they turn off cards like Soul Charge almost.
Yeah. I think a nice play right now. So he sees that he's playing Shaddoll. He could just make a Ptolemaeus right now and rank up into Diamond. That would be a nice play. Or if he feels like he needs to keep Unicorn on the field to negate those extra deck monsters.
He just passed, I
think. Yeah, I think he just passed. It seemed
like
he was motioning the pass.
Yeah.
Or he was just doing some aerobics. I don't know.
Yeah, may have been inspired by our volunteers that are helping with the apps.
Yeah.
Fitness time. All right, so Daniel drew into Shaddoll Core.
Yeah.
And he's currently missing the fusion card.
Yeah. So Regeki. Yeah.
That's a good card, I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. It was forbidden for many years. So here we go. We see the Scepter Sovereignty combo. So the way this works is Sovereignty triggers when you summon a Star Seraph monster, and the Scepter also goes to search for a Star Seraph monster. And now what happens is you can summon the Sovereignty, and then the one that you just search gets to be summoned because you summoned the other one from hand. It's quite a strange combo to explain because I have to use the word sovereignty quite a lot.
Yeah.
But
it's not my favorite English word, to be honest.
No. All in all, what happens is you manage to draw a card for each of the sovereignties that you summon, and you get to make a rank 4 play using 3 monsters. So generally, he's probably going to go for Ouroboros here. Ouroboros is a very powerful rank 4 Exceed monster. However, it requires 3 level 4 monsters.
Yeah, quite the investment.
Yeah.
Unless you get this combo going with the Star Seraphs.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know whether he's going to take advantage of Scepter's effect, maybe destroying one of his own cards. That's a possibility, because when you use Scepter for an Exceed summon, you can destroy one card on the field and then draw a card. So if he has one of these cards in his hand, so the Shaddoll Core is probably the only, that's actually the only one in his hand, isn't it, that's viable for that. Yeah, so if he could set a Shaddoll Core, which seemingly has done, then he's going to play the Ouroboros, use the Scepter effect to destroy the core, to draw a card.
So basically, you're completely agreeing with that line of play?
Yeah, I think he's going to destroy that. Yeah, so destroy the core, draw a card, and then he's going to use Evil Swamp Ouroboros' effect. So it has 3 different effects, each of which can only be used once while it's on the field. One of those effects is that you can take one card from your opponent's hand and send it to the graveyard.
And suddenly, Daniel is sitting in a very good position, actually, thanks to that Raigeki that made short use of Kevin's field. Was there any way for Kevin to play around that card?
Not really. He took the time investment. Daniel took the time investment to play that Star Seraph combo. The only real way for Kevin to play around that would be to keep that Gungnir in hand and play around it using Gungnir's effect.
Right.
But he had to invest into the field.
Yeah.
So
now he's got a Senju
of
the 1,000 hands.
Yeah, so let's have a look at his hand. He's got a Senju, and he's going to search.
He can also search for Ritual Spell.
A Ritual Spell.
I think he's doing that at the moment.
Yeah, so he could summon Senju. I don't know if he's used all his Shurits. I've actually lost track of how many Shurits he's used. But he could use Bryanak. Bryanak becomes Shrit. Then Nekroz cycle, discard Shrit from hand to cycle back one of the ritual monsters from his graveyard, and that would special summon them there.
Alright, there is.
So he's going to get Nekroz Mirror, which is very good. So what's happened to that? He seems to have discarded a card. Why did he do that? Oh, I think Daniel might have just been looking at his graveyard, and I've just gone crazy.
Just making sure, yeah.
So he someone's a Senju. I've just gone a bit crazy.
All good.
It's all good. So here we go. So Senju's going to go get a ritual monster now. Let's have a look at which ritual monster he wants to summon. So the way he's going to summon this, by the way, he has the Nekroz Mirror in hand. There must be a Shurit in the graveyard, or Nekroz Mirror can also banish the number of levels from the graveyard to summon the Nekroz monster from your hand. So let's have a look. Let's see how he does this.
There is the Nekroz Mirror. Unfortunately, the face-down MST cannot negate it.
So he did get a Nekroz of Trishula. So he's going to be able to play Trishula here. But he doesn't seem to have... He high-fived him.
I think he just misplayed and
he
wanted to tell his opponent, here you go.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not quite sure what happened here.
Yeah, I think...
It seems like a misplay.
Yeah, it does seem like a misplay.
So I think he was going for something and then realized, oh, I can't do this anymore.
So generally the way that you would use that the Nekroz Mirror would be to banish Clausulus and to banish Bryanak. So...
Yeah.
He didn't have Clausulus.
So but yeah, there was an option to do something if he searches for the right card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, good news for Daniel, who might now be able to turn things around.
Okay, so we're finally seeing a Shaddoll fusion.
Successful Shaddoll fusion.
Mm-hmm. So...
That's very crippling with both Winder on the field and the Ouroboros.
Yeah, not in a massive way, because he's only planning on summoning one monster, and that's Trishula. But still, it's not pleasant to have that there. It means that even with a Raigeki or something now, it's more the fact that he gets to set that Falco, because that puts him on a one-turn clock. Because Falco, being the tuner that it is, can very easily synchro out in that with that Winder into an Arcanine Magician, which he has in the extra deck. And that can just destroy all of the monsters that Kevin has, which leaves him free to attack.
Like a second Raigeki almost.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Fire Hand also coming down.
That's going to send that card back to hand.
And that should be enough damage.
Just push for damage.
Yes. There we go. 1-1. Kevin Brandt versus Daniel Bentsen. Danish are very collegial here.
Yeah.
Handing each other the victories, with Daniel not drawing anything in the first game and Kevin searching for the wrong card in the second game.
Yeah.
Very friendly people, as my experience with them as well. And yeah, you can tell Kevin is not happy with how that game just went down.
Yeah, I don't know whether I honestly I can't remember whether he did use all of his shirts already, but that would have been a kind of a safer play really, because he could play around Mind Crush there as well if that Mind Crush was set. But yeah, oh well, we
Well,
we'll
the
see.
one thing that we're sure of is we're advancing to the third and final game for
Yeah.
these two.
Yeah.
For one of these guys, it's possibly the last game of the day. For the other guy, it might still be, well, it could be the deciding duel that allows him to advance to the World Championship.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there's quite something on the line. Daniel, of course, with the mental advantage, I would say.
Yeah, especially because it's not a secret that the feature match areas, you got all the cameras, the lights, and things like that.
Yeah.
Adds just a little bit of pressure to the players
It
when they're
does.
playing.
It certainly does, yes.
So
Shouldn't be underestimated.
yeah, and I can only assume because Daniel, being the national champion, might be used to these feature matches, but Kevin might not necessarily be. So straight away here we see him go in. He actually just didn't stop.
This time he goes first, and
and he gets that anti-spell fragrance.
that is definitely good news. And he's got
Oh,
a
it could-
fire hand as well.
Is it anti-spell fragrance?
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
that's
it
anti-spell
is.
fragrance.
There we go. This is his field.
Oh, he's on double anti-spell fragrance.
Yeah, it's just making sure.
All comes
with
at
two of
once.
them.
All comes at once, doesn't
He's
it?
also got an effect veiler in hand, so even though Daniel doesn't have a lot of offense, he's
Yeah.
got a lot of defense.
Yeah.
And
I'm-
Kevin has
yeah,
a
I was just about to say, you would never effect veiler a Manju or a Senju, but in this particular situation, you want to do it.
yeah. So it's a fair play here.
Yeah, so fire hand.
What is the difference? Because of the back row.
Yeah, because you have such a strong back row here.
Yeah,
You wouldn't do
you
that.
don't mind slowing your opponent down.
Yeah, so he also has a Call of the Haunted, which means the fire hand can come back.
All
Okay.
right, and Kevin still has. He doesn't have any follow-ups
No,
for
not
this
really.
turn.
Wow.
Ooh,
Okay.
ripping it from the top. Wow, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Yugi would be proud with
He
that
would.
Star Seraph hitting play immediately.
There was some serious heart of the cards stuff
Yeah,
going on
I
there.
think it wasn't in the hand for like half a second. He just
Yeah.
drew it and basically immediately summoned it to the field.
Yeah.
There we go. And nothing that Kevin has can stop that from resolving.
No. So he's going to be able to go and get a Sovereignty to hand now. That's not necessarily...
The
know.
end of all things, yeah.
Yeah, but the key factor to this is that he has a Call of the Haunted. Now, you can do the Star Seraph combo with a Call of the Haunted.
Right.
So if that Scepter gets taken off the field at any point, he's going to be able to use that Sovereignty and absolutely make a serious play there.
And Kevin wants to get it off the field, of course, right?
Yeah, Kevin wants to get it off the field, so that's going to be good for Daniel.
I think Daniel is checking his extra deck.
Yeah, so we might even see him force the issue here.
There we go.
Yeah, so he's going to make a
Castell?
Oh, okay. He just really wanted that.
Yeah, he's completely committed to that play.
Yeah. So Scepter Sovereignty, he's gone straight in. And the fun part about this is he's going to be able to make the Exceed play and then destroy the Call of the Haunted that's no longer attached to the Scepter and get a free card.
Wow. So at first it looks a little bit like it's a negative investment, but he's
No.
getting so much out of it.
Yeah, because he gets the one draw from the Sovereignty that he summons alongside the Scepter and one from the one that he searches. That's a great investment because he
Was
gets
it
to look
the
for his strike
ideal
cards.
draw for him?
Oh yeah, no question.
No question
No
about it.
question.
Okay. So there we go. He does add this. Wow. This is seriously the Shaddoll deck at its finest.
Overlay into Ouroboros, destroy the Call of the Haunted, draw a card, take a card out of your opponent's hand. Wow.
Yeah, like out of nowhere, really. He's now popping the Call of the Haunted just as you predicted and draws another card.
Yeah, detach
Look at
Scepter.
how things are shaping up for
Artifact
Daniel.
Lancia. And a Thunder King. Wow, okay, so I heard you liked playing Yu-Gi-Oh!
Wow.
Yeah. That's
and he's ripping a mansion
and
from the hand.
Shaddoll
That's
fusion
also
as well.
one of the best targets that he could have hit in Kevin's hand.
Wow.
Kevin is now forced to basically
Just set all
play
of his cards.
a super defensive approach here with the preparation of rides, face down, Nekroz mirror, Nekroz cycle. Cannot activate them, of course, in case you're wondering why is he bluffing with those. He isn't. He needs to set them because of the anti-spell fragrance. And wow, look at Daniel Bentsen completely dictating the pace of the game in that third duel.
He actually just took a real risk flipping up that Castell in case one of those set cards was a torrential tribute.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think he didn't see the torrential before, and normally you don't really expect it, or do you?
Yeah, no, he did see it in the first couple of games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so so just in case you didn't want to definitely not play Yu-Gi-Oh!
There is the attacks, and that is it. Daniel Bentsen on his third turn.
Yeah.
After a super explosive second turn where he had the sovereignty that would allow him to search his deck, that was the top deck.
That was absolutely savage.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that was the strongest top deck of the whole weekend so far.
Yeah, wow. I don't even know what to say. It wasn't the fact that it wasn't the fact that he top decked that. It was the fact that he had that Call of the Haunted that was dead at that moment. He was just sat there going, "Oh, this Call of the Haunted's pretty useless." Yeah. Oh, okay. It's not anymore.
And how obvious was that line of plays that he needs to go for Castell? As you said before, really that he only has like a certain amount of rank 4s, not the strongest ones, so to see.
Yeah, well, he picked the two very good ones. So that was actually, I didn't even see that play. He didn't. I didn't see how you could possibly detach that as well as keep the monster on the field. I was thinking about. Yeah, I don't know what I've done there to get that into the graveyard, but yeah, he flipped that down, and then the fact that he could use the Call of the Haunted as fodder for the Scepter to draw an extra card.
Wow,
that play was
so
perfect.
And you gotta feel sorry for Kevin in a way. I mean, you're sitting in the feature match, you have a chance of making it to the top 64 of the European Championship. You're very, very close. Search is not exactly going your way in the your last turn of the second game.
No.
And then the third game, you just have to sit there and watch your opponent throw everything at you.
He must not be feeling very good right now. He made a misplay in that last turn. I don't know whether he had a way to win or not.
Yeah, normally you say everything but the kitchen sink, but I think in this case the kitchen sink came actually flying at Kevin as well.
In the shape of Thunder King.
With that field, yeah.
Thunder King, just in case he didn't already have everything. He had Thunder King as well.
All right, guys, we're going to be off our regular schedule, so to speak, because rather than showing you the next match right after this one, we're going to fit in the Dragon Duel finals. So I am not 100% sure if we got the Dragon Duelists up here already, because their tournament is, of course, going on at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready. I think we're going to jump to interviewing.
Yeah, we're still going to be able to have a quick interview with Daniel, and second interview, because he's one of the national champions as well, so we already had an interview with him. Yeah. And then we are trying to be back with the top 64 after the Dragon Duel. There is a chance that we're not going to be able to do the top 64 feature match, depending on how long the Dragon Duel final is going to take. Yeah. So without further ado, because as you can tell, time is of the essence here, we're going to take a short pause for the cause, and then we're going to be back with a player interview.